everybody, hope everyone's having a great Friday so far. Definitely ready for the weekend, but like I always say, always up for a little programming. So let's switch over. I should maybe adjust this volume a little bit. Alright. So yesterday I completed most of the code having to do with these action trees for abilities. We can see the script right here. So basically what this does, it converts, well, it doesn't really convert anything. We just give it a specific option that the game has chosen, and the script needs to give us back an action tree. And unlike the chess game, which could just give us a list of actions to execute one by one, this is more like a tree because we don't have all information. So, for example, here, we can't just simply give an action for a monster to move from one position to another, because if there's another monster in that position when we try to move, which could happen if there's another monster that's faster than us that moves before us, then we obviously need to cancel this action. So that's what this code, or that's what this branch does. So we create a new node, and then the condition will be can move to, which will probably do that tonight, where we create a script to handle this condition. And then it'll have one branch, which would be we can move, which, and the action type is move. This is all pretty self-explanatory. And then the other branch would be on the fail, and then it have no action type. So that's why it's a little more complicated than how we were able to do the chess game, and it's all due to hidden information. We didn't get quite far enough to actually test the script last night because there's a little more like supporting code I need to fix. Right now this is complaining because I had to change a certain component's type. So right here it says this variable, or this tag, is already in use by another variable with action list instead of action tree. So all we have to do is right here, select return actions, find all references, and we want to convert the other classes that use this to use an action tree instead of an action list. Okay, so the choice finalizer, we'll probably be working on this tonight. But see, right now we need to convert this tree list into a message to send over the server. So we'll just return null for now. Or, oh yeah, we'll just say return null, but we should probably throw a non-implemented exception. Or, okay, so I don't need that return anymore, so I'll just comment this whole part out. And the other is the end of turn effects, which we really haven't implemented at all, so this actually works okay. All it does is just create an empty list, and then on the next frame it just says that all the actions are chosen, so that is fine. Oh, and I don't have to do that anymore. Alright, so okay, and then here it's just saying that this variable can have unlimited claims, and that's just because various classes can set the value. Alright, so now everything seems to load okay. So when I click here, okay, exception and ability get action function on LuaScript line 52. Let's see. Cannot access condition ability action tree node. Oh, did I not? Maybe I didn't set a getter for that. Oh, what's going on? Okay, it looks like Unity is gonna crash on me. But yeah, so it's complaining right here, and it's probably just because I forgot to have a public set function for that. Alright, so let me just restart Unity real quick. It's been a little unstable since the patch. I'm thinking I might need to switch back to the old C# version. Yeah, maybe I'll just go ahead and do that. Hopefully they'll fix all this soon. Regardless, still have Microsoft Visual Studio up so we can program while that's restarting. So it's action tree node. Okay, it's just because I named it condition name here instead of just condition. Guess that's fine. Sorry, I had to sneeze there. Alright, so once Unity restarts, or maybe it's not going to do it by itself. I think we'll be ready to run this now. Oh yeah, it's probably gonna have to recompile scripts. Might take just a little bit. I don't think I used anything in the new C# yet because I knew that I'd probably have to revert back. Oh. Type of namespace tasks. Oh, okay, that's kind of annoying. So it added this into a bunch of files. So let's say entire solution, and we'll just replace this with nothing. Okay, so it's gonna kind of annoy me that it leaves this empty space right there, but I can go fix that up later. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we're ready to play the game again. Select move, and let's try to go here. Because now it changed to get actions. And I guess the script ran okay. We have no real way of knowing what it returned. Alright, I guess to make sure, or just to test something, let's print out debug the condition name for the first node in the node list. And this should be can move to. And if that shows up, then we should know that everything is working pretty well until we can test things more thoroughly. Okay, can move 2 is right there, so good. Alright, so now we need to translate these ability action tree nodes, which is, these are the Lua interface version. We need to translate them into the game data version, which is right here. And it's structured a little differently. Alright, so is that, yeah, I guess that's the next thing I'll do. So private, I guess it will return an action tree. I'll put data in front just so we're explicit. Translate script tree. I'll just return null for now. Okay, so I just realized, yeah, this node as a list doesn't really work because you need to add like another node to the end of this branch. Yeah, so I'm not, I guess I just did that quickly to try and get it working. So let's see. So at the end of this branch, I guess we can have a reference just to another action tree node, which would be the next action to take. The thing is, do I want to I'm trying to think about the easiest way to program this. Okay, so let's say that this move function we moved and then we did damage, or how about something easier, how about we just heal ourselves? So alright. So can move branch, or let's say local can move node so there should be an easy way to add, like, to chain a bunch of actions if they do happen linearly, because a lot of times that will be the case. So I wonder if I should really just combine these nodes and branches into one class. And so that way, like if you wanted to just have a chain, you would just keep on calling like add node to the end. So let's think about that. I don't really want to be that difficult. We would just move this up. And so I'll just rename this name to, I guess it can still just be a plain name. And then we'll need this information. Oh well, that was loud. I don't know if you guys could hear that thunder. Keeps on storming every time I try to stream. Alright, so again, we won't want to be able to set this name unless we're in C#, so that's why there's this hidden right there. Okay, so we can still have this action branch. But maybe instead of having a dictionary, it'd be easier if we just have a list after all. So that way we could have unnamed branches if it's just a chain. I don't know if that really makes things much different, but... Okay, so instead of calling this add branch, we'll call it add, well, I guess it still should be a branch, huh? So yeah, if you're naming an action, it'll be a branch. Otherwise, we'll call it add chain. So this will just be a node that runs afterwards no matter what. If that's the case, then condition name should start. I guess it can just be null. If it's null, then that means it's just going to branch to the next node right away. Okay, so this will be okay, yeah, I think we'll do it that way. It's maybe a little redundant, but that way I don't have to like try to store some temporary name in here for a chain node. Alright, so we don't want this branch class at all, really. Okay, this will just be get branch. Alright, and if chain equals null, then chain equals new, return chain, otherwise we'll return null. And then let's create, what was it? Oh, it needs a script so it can create the memory. That's fine. Oh, that doesn't work? Oh, okay. Oh, it's because I don't save a reference to the script. I guess let's call it chain. Oops, but I need the type, of course. So technically it's kind of possible to have both a chain and branches, but I think you would get an error and when we actually try to compile the action tree, because that doesn't make any sense. And so we don't need this class anymore. Alright, so let's go back to Lua and try and update this. So let's say get action tree root equals add branch, and this will be add branch. And then, for example, if we wanted to be able to heal yourself after this, we would just say local heal is can move branch, add chain, and then we could add action type. For example, we won't actually support this yet, but active monster equals args monster index. I'll just leave it at that. Okay, and so we don't really need to set the action type to none, because I think that will be implied. So really, a node can either, like, it should either have an action type or a condition type, but not both. Let's go with all capitals like usual. So I think this makes the most sense. I mean, I guess we'll, as we program more, we can, I mean, one good thing about separating the code into Lua and then the Lua interface and then the normal C# code is that we can change something in one and it doesn't really affect the others too much. So we do have some flexibility. Hey Taco, good to see you again. How are you doing tonight? Alright, so I just said, I don't need that. Maybe instead of chain, I should just say add next. I think that makes a little more sense. Oh, you're doing some research on Lua. Found another called InLua as well. Oh yeah, I have heard of that one. Obviously I don't have much experience, but yeah, well, it's always good to do some research. Alright, so I guess I'll play the game and just make sure I didn't do any typos. Don't make any typos. Okay, oh, I know it. When I renamed this function to getActionTreeRoot, I didn't rename it in C#. Also, okay, so we don't have a list anymore, we just have root. And And then yeah, if there's an error, then I want to delete the root so it can be cleaned up. And then we'll also want to null it out here before we return. And then we can just set that and then return it. Actually, yeah, we just return the root. We won't ever create it except right here at the beginning. We can just make a lambda function here. It's so simple. This would be okay. I guess I'll set this in front just to make this more clear. Thinking about what you might be able to do with it. I don't exactly want to spend a month on a big project. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Just do a small project to get the hang of it. Alright, so let's try this one more time. Okay, so something else. Cannot access condition type. Oh, I didn't rename it again. I think I will call it condition type instead of just condition. That makes a little more sense in case we have some kind of other fields for the condition itself. Okay, so now it looks like it ran, which is good. Alright, so now we're ready to translate this into this. Okay, so again, I think I might just combine it all into one class just like I did the Lua. I think that'll be easiest. Well, except the root has a little more information. But let's rename this to node. Okay, yeah, so we have the condition index and then a list of other nodes. Okay, we can call branches, that's fine. And then we'll also have the actual game action, if there is one that exists with this node. And then we'll also want the Lua table. Okay, and then this list is just a list of action trees. Basically there'll be one for each player. So is that enough information to store all this? So yeah, this goes in the branches list. And then we store the memory, we have the condition, and then all these go in the game action. So I do need to store the names of the branches. I think I'll just store them separately. Well, no, we can just have a name here. Yeah, that'll be okay. Alright, so I think everything is set up. Okay, so we need to create the root here. So data. action tree. Oh, I guess this isn't actually the root, this is the tree object. It has, like I said, a little more information such as the player index. Which do we know at this point? Well, we can get it from the monster index. So I guess I should pass this into here. So, battle, monsters, parameters, monster ID. Oh, this doesn't actually have the player. Okay, so let's just pass the player ID, that's the easiest way to do it. Because some other class will have access to that. Okay, so I think now these Lua classes and this will go 1-to-1, and they basically have the same structure. But we do need to know the parent before we create the children, so I'm trying to think the best way to do this. I guess I'll have a queue. Ability, action, tree, node. I guess node, working, queue. Okay, so node, working queue. We'll enqueue the root. Alright, and then while node working queue dot count is greater than 0. So basically, this queue will contain parents that we need to create the objects for the children. So Lua interface, ability action tree node. So the Lua node is what we get out of the queue. Right, so instead of Lua node, I'll actually call it the Lua parent. Actually, no, this isn't how I want to do it. I want the queue to so I think this is slightly more complicated. Let's make a structure here. Struct tree translate parent. And so we'll need to keep, I think we'll actually have to keep the Lua interface and a reference to the corresponding game data interface. Another way to do this is if we could somehow flatten out the trees. But that seems like too much work. So trying to think the best way to do this. I guess I'll just create an empty game data, and then when we pull it out of the queue, we can copy everything from Lua and then just add in empty entries for all the children. And then when they show up in the queue, then we can copy their corresponding nodes from Lua. So the Lua parent is the root, and then the game parent is just this plain one here. Oh, except I actually do need to create it out here. So tree, root. I guess I could go like this. Root equals new. And then I could just pass the tree root in here. What's it complaining about? Oh, I forgot to put a comma. Alright, so now we have pair. So let's just call this parent pair equals node working queue. So we'll take the last pair in the list. That's the Lua interface, action tree node, and this is, of course, the Lua parent. I'm just going to pull them out just to make things a little easier. And then the game parent is just there. Oops, forgot semicolon. Okay, so here is where we can check for errors. Obviously, the first one is that the Lua parent can't have an action and a condition type at the same time. So if Lua parent condition type that's not the right function, is null or empty, false, and string is null or empty, action type is false, oh yeah, so that's correct. So throw new play exception cannot have. Okay, so action tree node. I guess I'll put a name in here. Cannot have a condition and action type. And then I need to do string format. Parent name. And then also they both can't be false. I guess that we take care of that here. Else if string is null or empty. So if it has a condition, I know I could make this a little more efficient by testing if it's, maybe I will do that. So bool is condition. Oops. And then bool is action. So if it's a condition and an action, then that's an error. But it can be either one. Oops. Is condition, we'll do something else. If is action, we'll do something else. And then if it's neither, that's another error. Action tree node. Let's go. Must have a condition or action type. Okay, so that takes care of that. Well, obviously we need to do this code. First, let's go ahead and move over the name. So game parent name equals Lua parent name to upper invariant. Well, actually, some of these nodes can be unnamed. Yeah, so if Lua parent, or I always forget to call string is null or empty, Lua parent name. So if it's null or empty, we'll just call it, I'll just stick something in here. Unnamed. Oh, I think that's correct. It's hard to tell when it's in all capitals. And then I guess maybe I should use this, the game parent's name now in exceptions. Okay, so what else do I need to move over? Okay, so we have the Lua memory. I guess I can do that here. Alright, Taco. Thanks again. Okay, so most of the other things here depend on if it's an action or a condition. So, like these, we only will pass over if it's an action. This, obviously only if it's a condition. And then which branches on chain. So really the chain is what we'll move over if it's an action, and then the branches we'll move over if it's a condition. Oh yeah, Taco, thanks for letting me know. Thanks. Okay, so the condition is a little more complicated because we need to keep track of all the different conditions. And we haven't set that up in the database yet, so I'll leave that out for now. So, but if it's an action, it won't be that difficult. Maybe I should move this out into a separate function. Private void copy. Oh, let's just keep it a translate. Translate node as action. So we'll have the Lua parent. The game parent, and I think we might need the queue, but it's an object variable, so it should be okay. Alright, so first we're going to use this game action class, which I think I already have everything I need here. Okay, I don't need to add these unused enumerations yet, enumeration values. Alright, so first we'll switch the Lua parent action type. So the only one we'll support right now is move. Well, I guess we'll support if it's null or equals none. That's actually a good point. If either of these equals none, then we'll also want to treat this as having false. So let's do it this way. If is condition or maybe I can put it all in one list. I mean all in one line. Okay, so is condition is true if this is false and L parent condition type 2 upper invariant does not equal none. thing here. And this won't cause an error because we already know it. If this was null, then it wouldn't even run this code, so. Yeah, that's true. Alright, so if this is move, then the game parent type, I guess it is called action. That's a little confusing, isn't it? Oh no, I need to create the action object, of course. I guess I can do it this way. Alright, so type equals move. And if it's anything else, since we already took care of the none case up here, you can throw an error now. So action tree node has invalid action type. And then we can pass along the L parent action type. And I need to also convert this to aberrant variant just to make it not case sensitive. Alright, so what else is in here? Oh, the player, monster, and the target index, which will hold the tile for us, or block, I mean. Alright, so the game parent, what was it again? Okay, source player. Well, that is just what's in here. I'm gonna have to pass that, I guess. I don't even know if it really needs to know that. Well, some other actions will. So I'll just, I guess we should just pass the parameters. These classes are so long. Okay, so action dot source player equals parameters player ID actions. Source monster is what's in the Lua, except we subtract by 1. And we should also make sure that this is valid. So if L parent active monster is greater than or equal to 1 and less than or equal to battle monsters count. Ooh. Yeah, count, that's right. I don't know why I didn't fill that in. So then we can set this, otherwise we'll throw an error. Oops. Okay, so action tree node has invalid monster index. And actually only some action types will care about the index, so I'll go ahead and build that in now. So game parent action type. So obviously the move needs a monster that is going to move. And then we'll do the same thing with the target position. So move does need that as well. So let's see here. Position. So, let's see. I have an easy way to convert. Maybe it's in the block position object itself. So I guess the block position could be null as well, which is bad. Okay, so if Lua parent position is null, so this node has unset target position. I guess nil makes more sense. We don't need another argument there. Okay, so now we can get the actual position index. Is Lua parent target position? Yeah, as hex position, that's what I was trying to remember. And then I actually want to get to board index. Okay, so what this does, here we convert it to from Lua indexes to game indexes basically, and then here I convert it to an index instead of a vector 3. So I can say if position index is greater than or equal to 0 and position index is less than battle board map length. Alright. And then if this is out of bounds, then we can say as out of bounds target position. Is that it? Yeah, so we set all that. Is there anything else in here? Yeah, so type, monster, and the position, so that's all good. So translate node as action. Parent from the parameters. Oh, and of course I need to add its children to the queue. So basically, if Lua parent next does not equal null, then that means this parent has another action right afterwards. So what I will need to do here is I need to create another game node for the child. Child equals new I'll keep with the G prefix, and then I should add that to the parent. Branches, add. Yeah, instead of branches, I think I'll name this children. And this should be okay. And then I need to create another a register, another pair waiting on the queue. Oh yeah, I'm having a pretty big storm, so if my power suddenly goes out, I do apologize. Alright, so And then I need to put the Lua equivalent here, which would be Lua parent next. Okay, so we add that to the queue, and then we exit. And then we might come back here and pull it off the queue and execute that. Okay, so let's test this, because yeah, this is quite a bit of code. And we'll just ignore conditions for now. I don't even call it yet though. So results tree equals translate script tree, and we just give it the parameters. It'd be nice if we could transverse the tree and print out everything inside. It's not exactly easy to do. If I made this serializable, I could have it show up maybe in Unity. Yeah, everything should be fine. I mean, I won't show the table, but that's okay. So yeah, let's go back down here to, what was it, the debug? Yeah, this game data editor link. And have an action tree. Oh, I need to make it public. Testing tree. Or actually, maybe we could just get the whole list. So private variable subscription action tree list. So this will be the action tree. Okay, this is not hooked up to the rest of the game. I think I could just TLT behavior. And then action tree variable equals, I guess I don't really need a reference to it. Right, and so now I have to say override. Protected, override, void start, base start. Okay, and so yeah, now I can just say get beluga component. I don't know why, I guess I didn't have this class created when I first made this object, I'm not sure. And then sub to variable action tree list. Testing tree equals T. So let's rename this to action tree list. And so whenever this variable, oh, I need the tag actually. So TLT tag play. What did I call it? Choice finalizer. Selected turn actions. So now whenever we update this list, it should show up here. And I think it will serialize in the editor. We'll need to test that. Hopefully this works, otherwise we'll need to go through and have some way to look inside it. By printing a long log, probably. Alright, so I think everything is set up now. Well, does anything actually insert this tree that we return into any list? I guess I can see where these results are used. Okay, so yeah, we just get the results, but we don't do anything with it yet. Private, variable subscription, action tree, list. So this will be action tree. Well no, this isn't right. We what should I put this in? Okay, maybe I'll just send this a message. So action tree computed. We probably all need to wait a frame actually. So controller add subscribe to ticking and int tick priority normal. So this just means on the next frame we'll call, I guess I'll wait a frame just to make things easier. I'll move it in here. Oh, this should be float, delta time, and private bool needs compute. Okay, let's do it this way. That way I don't have to worry about setting it to false. So if needs compute. And the way is to use that combo activator. I guess that's why I created it. Sub toggleable. Right, so this is basically equivalent, but now this function will only be called when this is true. Oops, I pressed caps lock instead of shift tab. Right, so action tree computed, send. Oh, I need a message claim, not just a message. Results dot tree. Alright, this is just an action tree now, not a list. This will be controller claim message action tree. Selection tree. Computed. And then that's all set. So now I just need something to subscribe to this message, which I guess will be the selection flow controller. Action tree computed. this will do is we'll call the other function, which we can get at this choice actions collector. This one, player actions chosen. And I don't want to, like, technically I could use this or have the selection finalizer just call this message itself, but this message will also be called by the AI, and it's kind of like bigger than the selection flow manager, if that makes sense. So I kind of want the flow manager to handle dealing with it. I don't know the technical term. So actions chosen. Alright, I don't want to sub, I want to claim this message. Oh, well, it's the same thing. Player, actions chosen. Thought I copied. Okay, that's a little confusing. Oh well, no it's not, because that's action tree generated, this is selection action tree. I guess maybe they should both use generated, I don't know. Alright, so we'll only accept this if we're in the right phase. And if that's true, we can just call on action. What did I call it? Actions chosen. Which will trigger the selection finalizer to call this action tree computed. Oh wait, it'll call the actions collector, which adds the tree to the list, which will get it to show up in Unity, which is basically what we did all that for. I think afterwards an error will throw because it'll try to send that to the server, and that is not supported yet. But let's just see. Oh, something else. Subscriptions to play selected turn actions. Alright, so let's see. Oh. Right now we have it set up so that only one class can subscribe to it. Yeah, so right here, the choice finalizer subscribed, and then also here, but kind of doesn't make any sense. So I'd let it have unlimited subscriptions as well. Okay, so now everything loaded. Alright, so something went wrong, let's see. Oh, I think I forgot to create the queue. I thought about that when I added the declaration up here, but I was like, oh, I'll wait to create it in case I need to change something. It's a node, working queue. Okay, Unity. Okay, something else. The tree is null. Okay, so if it's null when it gets here, so the flow manager just passes it on, so there's nothing that could happen there. The finalizer passes it on, so I must not even set it. I do. Oh, it's another silly mistake. I don't return the root. I put null there so that it wouldn't bother me with that error. But obviously the error is there for a reason, so it's okay. Easy fix. Okay, so now everything ran. Okay, it's going to... Yeah, we didn't move to the next phase because now it wants me to select for this player. So let's see if the action tree is showing up. Okay, it's right here. So yeah, so player 0, and then the first node is unnamed. Okay, so something went wrong obviously because this has no children and the action is not set. Oh well, the reason it went wrong is because the first root, or the root node, is a condition and we don't deal with that. I was hoping, I just wanted to test this. Let's see, is there an easy way I can do it without wrecking all this? Okay, so this move branch will just be get action tree root. And I guess I'll just have this another heal just so we can have a 2-node tree. Okay, so let's try it. Okay. Action tree node unknown has invalid action type heal. Oh well. Yeah, we knew that. So I'll just change this to move as well. I think that it's going to give me an error that the target position is not good. That was mostly just for testing anyway, so I don't really care if it has useless data. Alright, so now it shows up. The action is move, and there's one child, and it also has a move action. Oh, except that's funny, the type does not show up as an enumeration here. Huh, I wonder why that is. Well, it's correct anyway. Yeah, we're gonna need to build a better way to look through these action trees, I think. Because this works for now, but you can already see just with too deep tree, it's gonna get hard to read. But it will do the job for tonight. Okay, so I'm glad that we got through that without any errors. So I'll move it back to what it's supposed to look like. And I guess I can get rid of this heal since we know it works. Okay, so the only not confusing thing, the only difficult thing about this conditions is that the condition type needs to be registered with the game, because Each of these conditions will have an associated Lua script, which basically picks which branch is the one that will actually happen. And so we're going to have a lot of supporting code to do. So let's see, I have about 10 minutes, so we can do a little bit of work on it. Let me get a drink of water real quick though. Okay. So I guess let's start on the mod side of things and then work backwards. I'll make a class for an XML template. I guess this will be an ability condition. Let's close all of this. Okay, so yeah, we'll have another string here for ability conditioned files. Alright, so the main thing is we have the name and also the function. I guess I'll just call this the handler function. There'll be other things like conditions will need us to ask the server for certain information about other players. So we'll probably encode that in this file somewhere. So we're going to need to add another type of XML file to handle in the loading scene, which I don't really want to create another class, because I have these XML file waiting lists. I think maybe an easier way, public enum XML file type. So what do I have? Block wants turn ability. And ability condition. So maybe now I can just put this type in the waiting file. And then I can condense everything down into one list. And then instead of passing this function like that, I can just do a switch statement and call the right loading function. So let's try that real quick. I won't delete anything for now in case I need to in case this doesn't work. Alright, so I go backwards. Oh, because I might delete things from this list. So final assets XML contains the key we're waiting on, then we can remove it, and then switch. So we don't. So I just had the type right there. Oh, I'm testing the list. Okay, so case block, case monster, ability, and ability condition. So what do I need to pass? This information. Okay, so I'll just copy all this in here and then I'll change the function name. It's equivalent for the most part. Ability, and then this the ability condition. So let's comment these out. Ability condition file. Alright, and so okay, we don't have. Oh no, we do. I just created that. Ability condition. I don't have the game data class for this yet, but. So really the only thing is the handler function for now. Ability condition handler function. Alright. So it looks like everything will work. When do we... Okay, so we add it to the waiting XML here. It's all the same, so I can maybe just add that here. Oh well, no, that won't work. Okay, let's see. I'd like to be able to make this part generic so I can use it for all of these extra data files. So load XML file. I already have that, don't I? Yeah, load XML, okay. I'll just call this wait for XML file. And so we'll definitely need these three values. And then we'll also need the XML file type. Waiting, what did I call it? Okay, this is XML file type. Okay, so that works, but I need to call the correct function. Oops. This song is a bit too intense for me right now. Let's see. So I kind of want to reuse this this block right here. I want to extract. Oh, that's funny. Okay, let's just restart it. See Translation depth. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, so... Okay, I didn't even know that there was a depth limit, but that makes sense. Sure why it was bugging out, but everything looks okay. So if I rename this to load appropriate XML. Okay, let's call this call appropriate XML handler. Okay, so yeah, now this is good to go. I'll move this up. Okay, so I don't need this at all anymore. So I guess this can go right here. And then when we wait for XML file, I can say call appropriate XML handler. Oh, except we don't have this waiting class yet. I guess I can just create it. Since we are in the loading phase, it's not, don't have to worry about garbage. Okay, so basically if the object is already loaded, then we can go ahead and call the appropriate function. Otherwise we'll add it to this ability XML list. So now we can call wait for XML file for all of these, basically. Oops. Oh, I guess I accidentally copied a new line. So mod name, mod folder path, name in database, and then the type is block. Oh. Okay, yeah, so this should all work. I'm still a little scared though, so I'll just comment it out. This is monster. I guess worst comes to worst, I could just revert to an earlier version on Git, but okay, so this will be ability condition. And these conditions will probably mostly be in the framework mod instead of any content mod. I don't know if we should enforce that or not. There should be ability conditions. And I don't need this because that never existed for the ability conditions. Okay. Alright, so now I haven't added any ability conditions, but let's just make sure everything still loads correctly. And I think we might need to hold it off there. Okay, something's wrong. Mod load manager, let's look. Oh, did I forget to instantiate the list? So these can be commented out. Errors. Okay, what's this? Wait for XML. Oh, this should just be waiting XML. Okay. Oh, I pressed play too soon. Oh, well yeah, everything loaded in it. Alright, great. Okay, well we didn't get all the way to the server. I forgot about needing to load these ability conditions, but that's okay. This stuff will be pretty fun to code when we get to it, I think. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for me for tonight. Thanks everybody for coming by, watching and chatting. I really appreciate it. I feel like we got quite a bit of work done this week, so yeah, we're really making progress. Even though these models are still really plain, at least with this color, it's starting to come together and look like an actual game. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. So I probably won't stream this weekend, but Monday we'll come back at the same time and I'll finish uploading the ability conditions and we'll probably write our own. Well, we don't have to write one yet, we just need to get it all loaded in the database, because after that we're going to send the ability tree up to the server. Yeah, so there might be a little bit more until we actually see this little object move, but all in due time. Alright, well everybody, I hope you have a great night and a great weekend, and I'll see you Monday. If you missed some of the stream, just feel free to check out my YouTube channel in my channel description. I'll upload this tomorrow, and yeah, I'll be back on Monday. Hope to see you there. Bye bye.